Neville Goddard, Your Faith is Your Fortune. We're reading chapter 1. We're going to break it down as we go, too. It's a great book. Let's just kick it off with some chapter 1, Your Faith is Your Fortune, out of the Power of Imagination, Neville Goddard Treasury. Great book. It's got better margins than the other one. You don't have to dig in to read the middle of the book. So here we go. Before Abraham was, chapter 1. Verily, verily, I say unto you, before Abraham was, I am. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In the beginning was the unconditioned awareness of being, and the unconditioned awareness of being became conditioned by imagining itself to be something. And the unconditioned awareness of being became that which it had imagined itself to be. So did creation begin. By this law, first conceiving, then becoming that conceived, all things evolve out of no thing. And without this sequence, there is not anything made that is made. So for anything to exist, it first has to be imagined. And you're going to hear Neville say that all the time, everywhere. So first imagine an architect drawing plans for a house, and therefore the house is constructed per the plans, but the imagination of the architects was set it in motion. First, it has to be conceived, and then after the conception, the construction, the 3D world construction, if you will. Before Abraham or the world was, I am. When all of time shall cease to be, I am. I am the formless awareness of being, conceiving myself to be man. By my everlasting law of being, I am compelled to be and to express all that I believe myself to be. There's a lot of, in other works of Neville, and also considering the phrase I am, it is the name of God, which is I am hungry. That's God is hungry. I am thirsty. God is thirsty. Anytime any phrase or any kind of information is following the phrase I am, then it is what God is. I am wealthy. I am healthy. I am happily married. So whatever follows I am is God's word becoming what you conceive the I am to be. So you want to be careful when you say I am, and then whatever you follow it with, you want to have it always in the positive, the best you can. I am the eternal nothingness. That's no hyphen thingness, so nothingness. I am the eternal nothingness containing within my formless self the capacity to be all things. I am that in which all my conceptions of myself live and move and have their being, and apart from which they are not. I'm going to draw a picture in a second about what I think that is sort of similar to. I dwell within every conception of myself. From this withinness, I ever seek to transcend all conceptions of myself. By the very law of my being, I transcend my conceptions of myself only as I believe myself to be that which does transcend. I am, I am the law of being, and beside me, capital M, capital E, there is no law. I am that I am. And this, breaking this down, I am that in which all my conceptions of myself live and move and have their being, and apart from which they are not. So this reminds me when I first asked my teacher, "How does all this work?" Basically, life, and she wrote on a piece of paper this circle, and inside she said, this represents I am, or all that is, God, Jesus, Lord, Christ, Buddha, divinity, whatever you want to call this. This is everything right here. So when we break this piece down right here, I am that in which all my conceptions of myself live and move and have their being, and apart from which they are not. So when I says, how does this work to my teacher, she wrote this out, and she said, okay, so this is God, this is all that is, and then this is you, this is me, this is another version of you, this is your sister, this is your brother, this is your mother, this is your father, this is everybody in your life. Some lives are done, and some lives are just started. But all the different versions of yourself are in here, and they're all from the same source. And all of us are each other from the same source. So when you look at this, and you see this sentence, I am that in which all my conceptions of myself live and move. I am that which all my conceptions of myself live and move. We're going to use this drawing many times for many examples of different things, but in this case right here, it represents something similar to what my teacher showed me. I dwell within every conception of myself. From this withinness, I ever seek to transcend all conceptions of myself. I dwell within every conception of myself. If these are all the different lives being lived, and if they could also be probable realities, a probable reality meaning this is me doing what I want to do now, and this is me when I set a goal over here doing that. So you don't have to live one conception of self. You can live multiple conceptions of self. In fact, you already do. You just don't realize the division. You don't realize the division when you wake up in that other conception of self. And you could also call it what falls into play here is the word detachment, where you can detach from one self conception. And when you persuade yourself you are another self, then you detach from this self and you become this self. And it's all within the same oneness or I amness. It's also I am the eternal nothingness containing within my formless self the capacity to be all things. Boom, all things, all things in one shot. Great chapter. Before Abraham was, I am. Before Abraham was, that's chapter 1. Your faith is your fortune. I'm going to break down these chapters as we go. I'll hope to use the board as much as I can. But basically, the best way to study Neville is to do it right from the beginning. Your Faith is Your Fortune, his first book, 1941. And it is a very, very good book, by the way. So I'm glad we're starting with this one, too. So we'll see you in the next video.